What was it like getting the exception during the strike? And what happens now if the strike is over with that exception for Average Joe's?
Yeah, so that was a bit of a unicorn for us because we got a film for Full Armor that is just production services in New Orleans. So we were in charge of just fully casting and doing tax credits and getting that film off the ground in New Orleans. And so that was really, really interesting because, with SAG and being able to, obviously I'm part of SAG, and we knew it was coming. We knew that the project was funded and wanting to go, but it was really, I knew if we at least get into the application process and get it moving, that we should be good. And they wanted to go for the end of August was the start date. Ultimately, it was crazy with everything going on, obviously with the strike, with the writer's strike and also obviously the acting then kind of coming in behind it. We didn't really know where we were going to be as far as, is this going to be good? Should we keep moving forward? It wasn't a WGA project, so we knew we could. The strikes was looming for SAG, but we really wanted to be that kind of piece where we could at least give jobs. And then that ultimately, we got pushed about a month just to work out the paperwork with the interim agreement because it wasn't written. It was a work in progress. So we really became kind of one of the first round of guinea pigs for SAG because they were expedited everyone who was in production who had to halt because obviously they were burning money as it was going. That's so right. They expedited everything that was currently in production that could be proceeded with an interim agreement. And then we became the first kind of, all right, how do we do this? And it was a work in progress because you had agents and managers saying, don't talk to anyone without an interim agreement. We were kind of loosely approved by everything, showing finances and who the team was and where we were going. And then yet you had to write the agreement. It wasn't written. So ultimately it was about 3-4 weeks. We ended up kind of going through that process with SAG. And then we ended up being able to go for the end of September. We started and we were able to do production. So we were the only movie in production. It was about a 75-person crew. Honestly, it was a really kind of bittersweet project because being able to give that kind of jobs in that time for everyone, it was really great because we were the only movie going in New Orleans. In Louisiana.
Yeah, well, 3 to 4 weeks is not a long time. I mean, considering all that was going on, that's not terrible.
No, and the fact that we could go. And
exactly. And so I guess the question that the other side of Chris's question and that we were talking about earlier is like, okay, so you got the exception. Did the exception come with any constraints or rules that now are hindering you in this stage of the game? Like, is there certain things you couldn't do or whatever? Do you, now that the strike is over, does that hurt you at all?
I don't believe so. I mean, looking at the interim agreement, there was nothing, we just basically had to agree to everything that, obviously SAG was negotiating with the studios. And it was really easy to say yes to. I think that, you had to kind of figure out what was that, the residual thing going to be and all of that.
Yep.
We had to basically, just agree to all the terms. But and now that they have moved into post and it doesn't seem like it'll, hang up on anything. And we had already, what some people don't know too, the rates had already kind of gone up right at the beginning of July. The rates were due to go up. And so we had already kind of advised to go up on the budget, make sure everything was, where they needed to be going into that. Okay. So then really the rates were, you could say could have been, but it was all budgeted for.
But you didn't have the option to lock in the lower rate?
No, because it was already
the grandfathered rate.
Right. Yeah, it was already put forward. I think and we were DGA as well, and that had gone up at the beginning of July. So that was kind of all grandfathered in.